DreamHack ASTRO Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, and Zowie.
Welcome back, everybody, to day 2 here at the DreamHack ASTRO Open in Tour. Listen to that wonderful music. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling cultured. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm Parla, also known as Mantruse, and I'm your host for this event. There is the trophy on stage that everybody is battling it out for. 8 teams. 1 is now out, of course, but we still have 7 left. We will see who moves forward in the competition very, very soon. I'm joined by some analysts, but Pimp, right now, it's not about you.
Oh.
It's about the man on the end.
Oh, shit.
Natu, what's going on today?
Apparently, I'm getting older.
Everybody, it's Natu's birthday. And Natu, of course, in classic DreamHack fashion, we are going to celebrate, we are going to give you a good time, and we have something special for you right now.
All right.
Everybody, put your hands together for the birthday boy. Hey, look at that. Is that a brioche bun? I'm not really sure. Is that cream on top? Can we get a round of applause for Natu, everybody? An absolute legend in the scene.
Wow.
Try not to cry. I know you like,
that's beautiful.
being emotional.
I'm finished and super emotional. Am I not?
Yeah. Well, eat some, Natu.
Yeah, I'll press them. Yeah.
Let's get a real close-up. Can we get a real tight shot? Natu eating this cake. Very nice and creamy.
All right,
delicious. French patisseries are famous across the world.
Kind of scared of the candle here. I don't want to light everything up on fire.
You can blow the candle out.
Oh, that's true.
That's something that candle...
No.
No. Try it again. Try it again.
Oh, shit.
I mean, come on. I know you Natu, come on. Use your... Big breath. Big breath. There we go. Oh, another round of applause.
I thought it was a magic candle. It's never gonna... Yeah. Oh.
Natu, come on. We have a show to run here, and you can't even blow out a candle. But you can eat cake, and you can be a fantastic guy. Natu, it's a pleasure to have you here. Congratulations on your 32nd birthday.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? Good?
Still alive, right? So that's a pretty good achievement.
More than alive, dude. You're killing it. And we are having a good time here, and it's a pleasure, of course. Would you like to say anything to Natu? Make it emotional, make it deep.
I'm just looking at the number. That's just 32. You know, that's.
Why don't you pimp?
Quite a lot.
Why don't you feed him some cake?
Nah.
Awkward.
All right, that would be a step too far, and maybe we've already crossed it. I'm not really sure. Either way, we are getting ready to get into our second best of 3 of the day, and that is going to be the French derby between G2 and EnVyUs. You're still just going for it.
Why not? You guys do the work. I'll eat.
Yeah, that's fine. It's melting.
Okay.
It's melting.
Yeah, we don't want to set this on fire.
Yeah.
I think that would be better.
All right. Anyway, let's give everybody watching a recap. If you're new to the stream, we will show you now exactly what has transpired so far in the competition. Let's take a look at our group. So Group A, we now have our winner's advantage decider match that will be between Na'Vi and Misfits. That's happening later today. And how do we end up there? Na'Vi beat Misfits. Na'Vi then lost to Mousesports, and Mousesports ended up in that match because they beat Heroic. And we just saw Heroic lose to Misfits. They're not going to be very happy. The Danes are already out. Our first team out. Let's move on to Group B. So our first match was a huge upset. Trick beat G2, and that put them forward to play against Hellraisers. It was a close affair, but Hellraisers came out on top, and they've moved forward into the semi-final. They got into that match with Trick by beating EnVyUs early in the competition. Again, that puts us in our position now. G2 versus Envy. Trick awaiting in that winner's advantage decider match. Hellraiser and Mousesports on both on sides of the semi-final bracket, waiting for their opponents. We'll find out who they are playing by the end of the day. But let's talk about what's going on right now. And as I've said many times, it's G2 versus Envy. Jacob, tell us some details about G2.
That's gonna be easy. That's supposed to be the biggest and best super team in the world right now. That's a team that is assembled by potentially the 5 best players in France in each of their respective roles, and they have by far the greatest setup behind them. If you look at least in Europe, maybe you can argue that Astralis have a similar kind of setup, but the management behind G2, the money involved in this project, everything for G2 is set up to succeed. You know, they have the best players, they have the best management, they have arguably the most money. There's not really much to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the thing is, it's going to be a progress for them still. Even if they have the super players, you know, it will always be a process of trying to figure the little kinks out, how things work out. It is always for them. So far, I think everyone's been expecting them to be explosive straight from the get-go, to be storing everyone, but it's never that simple, is it? It takes the time to, especially in today's landscape of Counter-Strike, where you need to be good at least 6 maps to really battle it out against the top-tier teams. We saw them do really well in the best of ones, for example, a Star Ladder, but then when it came to best of threes, you know, they're not as comfortable on all those maps to be able to be fighting against the likes of FaZe, the likes of Astralis, and so forth at this point in time.
It's interesting because this G2 team is made up of legends, but we have their sort of like very consistent player who is one of the newer players in the French scene, so to speak, and that's Body. But he's able to produce performances that are, like I said, consistent. He's able to reach high numbers at times too. And he just seems to be like a steadfast player. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think he's a really good, like the 4th man in the team. He produces enough frags for him to be in that role. You know, he's good at playing solo on bomb sites, and I think, yeah, good asset for this team. Going around together with MPK being the more I guess, supportive type of players around these superstars that they have.
I guess he's what you call the hidden gem of this G2 lineup, because there was a lot of talks about who would they get to make this French super team, and there were talks about Scream coming in instead of Buddy. But when you look at the lineup and when you look at what player you have on G2, it makes sense that you have a guy like Buddy on the team. You already have NBK, as Nato said, being the supportive role, being the guy who sacrifices for the team, but you need a second guy to do that as well, and Buddy is perfect for that role. If you were to go with Scream, then he would quite not fit into that role, right? So
he needs some room, right?
He needs some room, you know, yeah, and it's like to me, he's like sort of the hidden gem for G2. He's one of the key factors for them to succeed, because can he play his support role to a high enough level like you saw Quims could in his Fnatic time, then I think G2 have potential to actually become this world dominant team.
Yeah, I mean, him and Devil were part of the LDLC teams back in the days. They had 2 teams, LDLC Blue, LDLC White. They were behind the big dogs in the tier 2 competitions, and they were the standout players, eventually becoming a part of the best teams in their country.
Let's move on to Team EnVyUs. Now, these guys, again, have an interesting story. When that G2 team was formed, these guys sort of were the ones that were left over in the shuffle, including others as well. But this team is still made up of very strong individual players. Not least, of course, the guy that we just saw on screen, Scream. He is an absolute beast, and he's going to have to perform at his highest along with RPK, and we've got a brain in the form of Happy. Sixer, again, he was on the EnVyUs lineup before it all shattered, and they went in their different directions, and we have to see XMS going off as well if we want to see this team go through further in this competition. Jacob, what do you think about this EnVyUs lineup?
I think it's a weird lineup, the way it's combined with the players they have. I think it is as it is. It's leftovers from the big French shuffles. I find it very hard to see what each player have of respective roles, because we don't know half of them. You know, XMS is a new guy to the scene. Sixer, we only get to see this much of him. And as you said, we talked about it yesterday as well. RPK and Happy, like they haven't been themselves as of lately. Happy from the early 2015s and RPK from before he retired. Like those 2 players need to step it up in order to actually be a threat for teams like G2, and we still haven't seen that for a while, you know. So this EnVyUs to me is a big question mark as it is right now.
Yeah, at least from a tactical point of view, I think we've seen some progress from considering or comparing it to the old versions where it was very, very freestyle. I think they still do force by a little bit too much, as is for Happy's teams always the case. But at least we've seen some setups from them, you know, on Cash, even though they got kind of wrecked in the end against Hellraisers. Early on in the game, they had some pretty decent mid-takes, you know, the ideas are there. But when you have players like XMS and RPK, who are supposed to be their heavy hitters, combining a whopping 11 kills through a map, it doesn't really matter what kind of plans you have. It's not going to work. They need to deliver.
No doubt. Let's take a look at the veto and see which maps are going to be played in this best of 3. Any expectations from you guys?
G2's going to probably veto Mirage and Envy Overpass to start things off. At least Envy is going to take out Overpass, because it's a map that they've steered away from the get-go.
Well, Natu, we've seen now Overpass being banned by Envy. Jacob, what do you think's coming next?
We're probably going to see a nuke pick from G2. That's their go-to map, and they've been insanely strong on it. Also on the previous lineup, before they made this shuffle, it's always a map that Shox like to play. So I think G2 with Kineas and Shox and nuke, that's going to be their safe pick.
For the better part of it, for Envy, it's always going to be pure poison in terms of what they pick themselves, because they haven't really established dominance on any map, if you're honest. So they've decided to go on Inferno. They've obviously probably seen G2 play it against Tricked, and it wasn't anything overwhelmingly good. Especially CT side, still a lot of quirks for them to be figured out. Oh. Once again, the peeling of banana might be something that we're going to be looking at, as Shox and Body, we're not having a good time over there.
Yes. Well, hopefully they will have a better time with the banana today. We've got Inferno being picked by EnVyUs, and then we have Cobble being picked by G2. We've got our 2 more bans coming in now. Nuke is being banned by Envy, and then our final ban will be in very shortly. Just waiting to see that come up now. And it is Train, so that means our final map is Cash. Guys, I want to talk about something with regards to Envy, right? So they're being described as the leftovers in the French scene. But if we apply the logic about leftovers that is applied to food, right? You have your meal, and then you don't finish it. You leave it in the fridge, you eat it the next day. Sometimes it's better, right? Sometimes it tastes better.
Rarely.
If you cook it on
Chinese, the day after is often better.
Yeah.
Indian curry, sometimes better. I don't know. So in this sense...
Do you enjoy cold pizza?
Yes, dude. If you kidding, you must do, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, look at me. I like pizza.
Dude, we all like pizza. And so what I'm saying, we all like pizza. No, what I'm saying is that who knows? Maybe these leftovers will end up being better than the main event that is G2. I'm not sure.
Interesting, though. I thought very interesting to go for Cobblestone from G2 there.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. Like they didn't pick nuke, and that's what I thought were the safe pick.
It's always with these domestic battles, though. Like there's so many variables that can go one way or the other. They've had some close maps in the existence of these lineups. Nuke games have been pretty close, for example. So I don't know. Maybe there's something they feel, that they'll have an edge over on Cobble.
They already played. They already played like 6 times, I believe, like internally. Only online matches though. But it's been back and forth. Like in the beginning, G2 won those games, and then EnVyUs had a period where they won 2 games in a row, and now G2 is back winning. Latest at the start of the qualifier, they won pretty convincingly on Train and Nuke. So it's like going back and forth between those teams. As not to set like domestic teams, domestic lineups, when they go up against each other, there's always something. There's always like this extra factor that you can't really point out, but it's there because you have 5 players on each team who knows each other so well. So there's always going to be this mind games going on.
Indeed. Now we are ready for some quick predictions. Pimp, would you like to start us off?
It's going to be a G2 2-0.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's for G2's game to lose. I think they are overall just a better team. I think the map pool is kind of irrelevant in the sense. So it's going to be G2 picking it up.
Perfect. Let me open the floor as well to our casters. Risk and Harry, what are your thoughts on this game? Who's going to take it?
Yeah, well, I think something that we can all agree on is that the map choices, the map vetoes were a bit weird. I figured we would have seen Nuke almost indefinitely, though. The fact that, we've got what... like Inferno as well, I even think it's a bit of a weird one from Envy's point of view. There are so many other maps I feel like they could have gone with. I think that's quite interesting.
I think that's where a chance lies for Envy if it goes to a 3rd map somehow.
Yeah.
Inferno didn't look very good for G2.
Yeah, definitely. And in general, just an interesting game. And as you pointed out on the desk, this is going to be G2's game to lose. They are the big favorites here. Of course, with 2 French teams, there's no real big crowd favorite, but I'm sure with the likes of Kineas and Shox in the team, the guys in the crowd are probably going to prefer the G2 guys. So it's their game to lose, in my opinion. EnVyUs, they have it all to prove. They can go and play without any pressure. They can play their game. They can focus on their stuff. And that's, I think, what's going to be the key for them if they want to get anything out of it.
No doubt. And we can hear the crowd right now. They're already going wild. This match is going to be absolutely amazing. Casters, please do take it away.
Yeah, the thing I'm really looking forward to seeing, I don't know about you, is Scream, right? He's going to be, there's a little bit, perhaps like a little bit of a vengeance between these 2 teams. Scream is kind of one of the players who was left behind to join Envy. Like you said, like Parla said, I think, kind of made from the leftovers of the French shuffle. I'm really excited to see when we saw them play initially. Remember when G2 had just formed and then they played Envy versus G2? Envy went huge. In particular, Scream did some amazing stuff. I'm really curious to see if we're going to see the same thing. Since then, I think G2 have grown a hell of a lot as a team. They've improved across the board. I'm looking forward insanely to seeing this matchup, and I think everyone in the audience is as well.
Yes. For sure. For sure. This is going to be a sick game coming between these two. And the Twitch chat right now, mainly on G2 side here with 68%. And,
can I get your prediction? I didn't ask.
Yeah, I'm saying G2 are going to take this as well, to be honest. I think it's going to be a 2-0, but I think EnVyUs are going to get really close. I'm really looking forward to see how they're going to do in Inferno, because this is going to be a big map and a big factor in how they're going to do in this best of 3. If they have Inferno, maybe, of course, they can have a chance on the third map. They're definitely not going to win the second, as we saw with Heroic as well. I think this is kind of like the same sense of this. If they win their own map, they can go far.
Right, yeah,
but
exactly.
Scream needs to show up, and RPK needs to show up.
Yeah. And, you know, I think looking at it, if it does get to that third map, that's where things get a little bit more up in the air. I think we could definitely see 3 maps come out of this. And if we do, the lines get blurred a little bit. If G2 manage to take this first one, then suddenly, you know, I think a 2-0 is so likely to happen. But the moment we've all been waiting for, we'll be getting into G2 versus Envy. First map is going to be Inferno, and it's the big one. Pistol round going to be underway. We've got Envy kicking things off on the T side. G2 over on the CT side. And while Shoxy doesn't have armor, he's running around. He decided to drop the 5-7 over to Apex. We can see that initially Envy, they'd be making their way up through mid, heading now into apps. Now Apex going to be playing up close with a 5-7 in hand, going to be the best gun for this scenario. They peek around the corner. He's going to go down straight away as Sixer does him the deed of taking his head clean off, but it's MBK coming in on the flank. They're already out on the site, but they're not going to be prepared for the pounce to come in this quickly from behind. The rotate coming on through as well. Bomb has gone down and is going to be ticking away. And now MBK going to be taking this first peek on out. Does spot the player in pit. That's going to be Scream trying to connect those headshots. MBK watching the flank coming on through, but actually just as he looks away, going to go in for the push. Happy's hot on his heels, and he's going to lose his head in the process. A 3-on-5 as the retake desperately trying to claw its way on in. Body does find one. He's got to watch out though, because RPK's in the sight. He doesn't check the angle. Kenny's the last man left alive. He's able to take 1 life, but he's still got 2 left to deal. And he will go down as Envy. They're going to be able to pick up the pistol in that first round, and what a way to kickstart this for EnVyUs.
Yeah, the lurk from Happy there coming in from behind. Actually, the second lurk, because we of course saw the first CT player, that was NBK, coming in, trying to do that flank. He waited a bit too much. That allows, of course, Happy to come in with that second flank, take him out and take that map control, take over the apartments. Now we do have 3 MAC-10s on EnVyUs' side, so they want to grind that money. They want to get that economy going. And on the CT side, all 5-7s and a deagle for G2.
Kenny, watching mid, instantly has to fall away. Desperately trying to cling on to this position. Goes in for the first couple of shots, but is going to be forced on back as Sixer chimes death down range with the MAC-10. Shoxy, they saw you getting into that corner, but he's still alive and kicking. Desperately looking for a way out. Going to be able to get one. Apex comes around to help out, and down goes XMS. Scream's gone on the flank, but now he finds himself here alone. He's isolated at long range with the MAC-10, and he's going to fall as well. Body down in mid. What's going on? This second round is going the way of G2 in a big way. It is all unhappy. The lone lurk for the side of Envy, 1 versus 3, bombs down and very much in control of G2.
Yeah, they got into positions where it's really hard to use those MAC-10s. And now, once again, long-range MAC-10 is not going to do anything. Body just bodies Happy, takes him out of the round, and 1-1 is the scoreline. And money completely reset by EnVyUs. They are going to be on pistols now.
Yeah, Envy looking to force buy on down. We can see a couple of Tech 9s here and there. Deagle up on Scream to try and find those headshots. Well, G2, they've got some UMPs, 1 MAC-10 grandfathered across on Kenny, and some rifles for Body and Nathan to play around with as well. Bomb making its way up through second mid. Looking at like they're going to be making their way in towards apps, as we saw in that first pistol round. Same thing once again, but this time with some armor, with some utility. Couple of Tech 9s as well to try and kickstart this round. And
it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. As I said, they're only going to be in pistols, EnVyUs, of course, because of that economy that got reset by the round loss after buying MAC-10s and UMP 45s. But they're going to have to do with what they have, P250s and Tech 9s. It's still possible. We saw it in the last match. Pistols are strong. And look at that, RPK starting us off, taking down Apex. And now, 1-man advantage for the terrorists, grouping on up on the banana.
Yeah, look at this, bit of a wrong rotate coming in from G2. They've stuck 3 players over towards A. Only Happy is here, and you can pretty much be assured that wherever Happy is, no one else is from the side of Envy. Everyone else over towards Banana, just biding their time. Shox has rotated background in anticipation for this, and actually Happy's looking to rejoin the rest of his team. That's how committed they are to this B-side take that even Happy is there. Now in with the rest of the ranks as they look to push up through Banana. A lot of pressure on Shox and Body to buy time for the rotates to come through. They're already a man down. And now the utility gonna come raining in, does block off Shox. The push comes through, Body, it's all gonna be on his plate. Peeks on out, gets the first, gotta try and do a little bit more. Takes two, looking for the third, he's gonna get the hat trick, and in comes Shox as well. They completely annihilate them. And then G2, they lock it down, pick up that second. Envy gonna be relegated down to Glocks across the board. Might be seeing a couple of PT50s brought up, but that is pretty much gonna be it. As G2 look now poised to pick up a third round.
Yes, they go for the standard B take with those Tech 9s. They go get the smokes and the flashes down towards CT, so they block off Shox. But if they can win the duel to the guy on quad, there's just no way they're going to be able to get into that bomb site. Especially not if they go for it like that. They could maybe focus a bit more on the timing. I'm talking about timing, look at that. Apex just pushing in towards T-Slow, and he's not going to get anything. XMS takes him out, and now Shox is in trouble because he's in a locked out position. Luckily, his teammates come in and help. Body and then BK shut it down, and Scream's last man surviving. He'll be taken out as well. Yet another round for G2, and Body's on 7 kills to only 1 death. And we talked about him being the hidden gem on this G2 side, and so far he's shining brightly.
Yeah, you know, Body went from being someone that you kind of saw in the middle of the board to now being someone who is incredibly consistent, such a versatile tool on the side of G2, and you know, he only looks to get stronger. Now they're going to be heading into that first buy round. Envy, they've got AKs across the board, plenty of utility to expend, but look at this play from Kenny. He's going to go very aggressive, but he might come to regret that decision as he goes down early on. Happy takes that in his stride, capitalizes on that ability to get the opening frag, and with it, they can also grab control of apartments. A lot of pressure now on the remaining people over towards A. Shox has been rotated around to rejoin Apex over here towards that A bomb site, leaving Body on B. One thing that we've praised him for before is his ability to anchor that B bomb site, but we have to see that today. We haven't seen it in, you know, for a little while now. His ability the other day was lacking, to say the least. A lot of the time it did fall to him, and he couldn't quite make it happen. It's a lot to ask. Hopefully today we can see the return to form from him over on that B bomb site. Shox dispatching a Scream, got more work left to do, but he can't quite do it. It's MBK to step up and claim 2 lives. Sixter and XMS both go down. Body does fall over towards B, but the bomb has been dropped over towards apartments.
So yeah, Happy, can he pick it up? He takes the frag onto NBK. Now it's a 1v2 for Apex to clutch the entry fragger. Off GG's not going to do it. RPK takes him out. And that's going to be EnVyUs answering back with a salvo of their own, 2-3.
Yeah, now one thing is, these are 2 French teams, so to get an idea of like where people are leaning, it'd be great if we could really hear people kind of giving it some noise and attention when G2 get frags or when Envy get frags, because it's going to be fairly divided, I imagine. Or are people just happy that France is here nonetheless? You know,
it doesn't matter.
At the end of the day, it's a French team winning.
A French team's going to win.
Yeah.
Of course.
So,
everyone's going to be happy. C'est très bien, as they say.
Into this round, though. We can see, once again, Envy going to be going for a similar sort of strat. They've got everyone making their way towards apartments. They leave RPK bottom of mid to watch for any aggression down Banana, but Shox is here with the AWP. Pop Flash going to come out, and he will be fully blind by that as a result. Takes a bit of damage, has to just fade away, but continues his aggression on Banana, not allowing them to peek on up. This basically relegates them to this side of the map until they can deal with Shox.
See here, NBK poised to wait as EnVyUs are lining up. Slowly but surely taking over control in the apartments area. The question is, are they going to execute towards A? They're going to rotate it around and go for that B play. Where Shox currently is on the Banana. The only player towards that B bomb side right now. And Shox has to come up huge with the AWP. Aggressive angle. And misses the... Oh, actually gets the first shot. I can't see. I'm apparently blind. But RPK goes down. And Shox, as we say, holds down that Banana.
Yeah, now he's falling on back a bit more passively in towards B. Everyone on Envy over here towards Banana. It's clear their intentions, and they're just going to go charging on in. Smoke's going to go down towards CT. Shox is here alone. He legs XMS, peeks on out, gets himself a second, and the third. There's no stopping Shoxy. And apparently there is. The answer is Scream. He does answer back before swiftly being traded out by Body. Apex sneaking on through. Dispatches of Happy. And then there's G2 standing victorious at the end of that round. 4-2.
Yeah, Shox hyping up the crowd. There we go. Of course, with the AWP, that's something that we saw against Tricked, which did not work out for them, taking that Banana control. This is Shox working it out, taking that Banana control, getting the first rack with the AWP, getting a few more here on the side as well, buying enough time for his team to rotate in and get this round, and perfect CT hold from G2 here, and this forces EnVyUs on a pistol. Almost full eco for them. 4-2, G2 taking a slow lead, but a certain one.
And Envy going for the exact same style of play. Everyone over towards apps, they leave RPK and Banana. They've been doing this time and time again, but it hasn't been working. This time they've only got pistols to play around with, so I imagine we might see something a little bit faster. Scream over in mid with the Deeg. Trying to open something up. Everyone else biding their time, waiting to see if anything does present itself, and it looks like they've got control of middle. You can see that Kenny's playing it from library a little bit more passively, allows him just to eliminate these players on the longer angles. The peek's going to come out, but he misses that initial shot. Now he has to go in for the repeat. Doesn't miss it the second time around. Scream will hit the deck, but he has allowed one player to cross in the form of XMS in through CT, and he's completely unaware. XMS is right behind you, Kenny, but down he goes. And now XMS has the AWP to play around with. 4-on-4 as XMS goes in swinging, finds that frag out into MBK, securing this A bomb site. Still one player left in the site. It's Apex to try and lock it down, but RPK says no. They have the man advantage. They have the A bomb site. And the bomb is going to go down. Shocks and Body trying to retake this 2v3. Shocks over in mid, sneaking it up over towards short. A lot of angles left to check. Happy's only got the PT-50 to play around with. Everyone else does have rifles on his side now picked up. He's going to better grab the AWP. Shocks like a Cyclops down through short. Spots the head over in pit, but Six attacks him down. At this point, he's going to start to fade away, but it's Body to step up in a big way. Gets himself two, looking for the third. He's going to be abandoned by Shoxy, though, who only just comes on through to try and trade things out. He's only got 10 HP, but he lands the shot anyway. And Shox, you're a monster. DeFuse going to come in. Body and Shox clutch that out, and that's going to be a 5th round now for G2.
They've already given up on it. Shox was on the rotate to save the weapon, but Body comes in, a godly spray, takes down 2 of them on the bomb side, just after each other, and that allows Shox in the end to come in, get that final frag, get the defuse in, and now G2 5-2. But then again, it was a costly round. EnVyUs did a lot of damage. They took a lot of the players down and removed a lot of weapons from the equation, from the economy. And now both teams are buying up. G2, most of their players are buying down to $500, $700, so they're going to be able to buy something in the next round if they lose, but it's not going to be good. XMS with the opening. Onto Apex. Kenny answering back, though. Shox with one as well. Double AWP setup on the CT side, paying dividends.
Yeah, and this aggression into apps for Envy just hasn't worked. We said when they picked Inferno, they must have had a plan, and right now the plan they have just isn't working. MBK chipping away at Happy through the smoke. Only on 4 HP as he just cruised along, desperately trying to avoid those shots. And while Scream and Six are still over towards mid, still alive and kicking for the time being, but as they start to push on out, they're by no means out of danger just yet. You've got Shox over towards long, Body there as well. Kenny's the one left over towards B this time. Curious to see if they are going to opt to rotate background, in which case we might see some action from him, but right now it doesn't look to be all attention to Shox and MBK over towards this A bomb site. Still 45 seconds left for them to play around with, but clock is ticking. They have to try and counter the decision sooner rather than later. They try pushing through the smoke, and Shox just unscopes. He's getting tagged down from apps as well. Finds himself stuck between a rock and a hard place. Has to make the decision, and it's going to be MBK to come in and save him at the last minute. Finds a second as well as Sixer goes down. It's still 1 4 HP Happy, who does jump down out of apps, but Body gets the frag. 6 rounds for G2, and Envy, they are falling behind.